past. And tomorrow, I'm going even deeper into the past, when I finally get to go onto the most historic and famous piece of Thames riverbank, the Tower of London. A place, I'm told, that's packed with finds. So today's my last day on the Thames. Hi, Ron. Nice to meet you. We're hunting in front of the Tower of London, one of the most historically significant sites in the country. The foreshore. With over 1,000 years of history, it's seen sieges and beheadings. It's been a barracks and a weapons arsenal, a prison and a palace. I've heard it's a really rich hunting ground, and the mudlarks are excited, so I'm like ready to go. Hopefully I can make some nice finds today. I haven't done a whole lot up till now. I got a couple of great artifacts, but I'm hoping for a real showstopper. The Tower of London is one of the most well-known and historic landmarks in the country. It's also the most protected, so it's got very special rules. It's eyes only here. They don't want any buried artifacts lost or destroyed. No scraping, scratching, or digging of any sort. Just what you can see with your eyes. And that goes for all the mudlarks, not just me. But mudlark Tim Miller has had years of practice at just staring at the ground.
Yeah, you see shapes and you pull them up, but it's with the water, everything being wet, it's a little different.
I've got my eyes are like trained for really small things.
Yeah.
And I famously miss all the really big things because you just don't spot them.
Walk by a big chest
unless
full
it's
of
a
coins.
tiny little silver coin, it just passes me by.
Yeah.
Tim has made some extraordinary finds on the Tower foreshore using his eyes only.
You find quite a lot of toys on the foreshore, but this one here, I think, has to go down as one of my best. It's actually a toy gun, as you can see, that's what it looks like. But what makes it special is it's the earliest toy gun imaginable, because it dates to about 1580, Elizabeth I.
He does occasionally find things of a much bigger caliber.
When I saw this on the foreshore, it was on the Tower foreshore, and it looks like a cannonball. It looks like a big, round, weighty object. But I thought, no, it can't be. Because surely, if that was a cannonball, someone would have picked it up. I mean, you can't miss that, can you? It's not like a tiny little coin. But it was an extra low tide. The river had gone out much further than it would ordinarily go. So I think I just got lucky. It takes you right back to that period of London's history and what was going on, and the Tower of London. It's this fortress, and the cannonball sort of fits with that whole kind of thing. So it just feels like an appropriate thing to have found by the tower.
So, Tim, I've only been doing this for about a week. I've been down to the foreshore 4 days. Is there any tips you can give me about where to look?
Because you're not allowed to scrape on the Tower foreshore. You just have to use your eyes, which means you've got to look for areas where the scraping's already been done, because the boats go past and they move all the stones. So the kind of shingle areas is no good, because you're not going to, the coins will be underneath that.
Right.
So you've got to find an area where it's eroded slightly, and the flat area, as if the scraping's already happened.
Right.
So you see this black stuff here.
Yeah.
That's kind of where the shingle has been taken off the top of it. That's where you're going to find the coins sticking out of there,
Okay.
in theory.
Great.
This constant erosion is why there's a no tools rule. They don't want to make it any worse by digging. Over the past 10 years, this particular area of foreshore has been eroded down an estimated 1 meter.
So what's the fascination with coming down to the foreshore?
Just look at it. It's just a fantastic place to be. When you live in a big city which is overcrowded and really busy, you can come down here. It feels like you've gone on holiday.
Yeah.
You're doing it right in front of, a World Heritage Site. You've got a beautiful landmark here, fresh air, water. I mean, it's fantastic. And, hopefully, some coins.
Hopefully.
But they're almost a bonus now.
We're not going to find any here standing here chatting, so let's get something.
The Tower foreshore seems to hold a magnetic attraction over the mudlarks. Heads bowed, their eyes are fixed to the ground.
I can't not come to the tower because it's been so fruitful in the past that it's like a draw. Even though I haven't found anything today or for quite a while, I just can't help keep coming back.
What's your favorite find from down here?
Well, I had my one and only treasure find, which was a hoard of medieval groats.
Really?
Yeah, but unfortunately it was about 5 metres over there.
Oh,
so, but it's because of that, it was the draw of that has always forced me to come back here, because there's always that chance that it might happen again.
Yeah.
There's always hope. So I've got hope, that's the most important thing.
Always hope.
Hope's not going to find me coins. I'm having real trouble spotting anything today. But I can see that the others are finding stuff. With only 20 minutes left before we have to leave, I'm really feeling the pressure. The pressure. It's the last few minutes for us on the Tower of London foreshore, and Ian's made a really ancient find.
Well, we call them dress hooks or clothing fasteners. And what you've got a hook at each end. So you'd have one side would go in one side of your cloak, or your clothing, and the other side just pulls the other side together like that. Still works. Mid-16th century, 1550, 1560. But it's quite a fragile find. It's quite nice to sort of get something like that, because it's, you know, it'll be easily broken up and lost.
Ray, too, is finding 500-year-old artifacts.
Nice little hammered coin.
I've been waiting to see this.
Quite a nice one.
Ray just found this amazing find. It's a hammered silver penny, and we believe it's from Queen Mary, which makes it a very rare find and probably a little expensive, probably somewhere between 800 and 1,000 pounds. So monetary value is nice. The museum probably won't buy it. Even though it's rare, she'll get to keep it in her collection, which is nice. Always nice to add something to the collection.
Everybody seems to be finding 500-year-old stuff. I just found this piece of broken pottery with writing on it.
Some interesting bits of pottery.
Oh,
Yeah, that's interesting.
I can tell you what that is. Although that's late, it's only Victorian. That's from the Holloway's ointment pot. And what you get, there's a woman seated, you can just see her feet there. And this bit here, you can just see rheumatism there, but there's a whole list of things that it's supposed to cure. Gout, syphilis, rheumatism, you name it, this cream was supposed to cure it.
Oh, nice.
So everybody bought that, just as a little cure. So it's kind of interesting, that.
Yeah.
My next find looks like a bunch of old rings.
What are these
Oh,
little,
there's a bit of chain
little
there.
rings?
See, it's got tiny little holes there in the ends of that.
So that's actually a piece of
that's
chain
now, yeah, so you loop it together
Sharp they stay after all those years.
through there, and then you just drive a little pin through, and that's how they join them up.
Nice.
So you can imagine how laborious it'd be to make that. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I particularly liked that I found on the tower foreshore were these little brass rings, which turned out to be parts of chainmail from the 1500s. And my kids are amazing history war buffs, so they're all beside themselves that I found this chain link armor stuff. So fun finds.
And at last, finally I found something really old. But I still haven't found a coin older than 1992. The tide's turning. Time's running out. It's my last few minutes in the mud. But the rising tide seems to be helping.
The wave came up and washed down over here, and I found a brand new penny, and then I went down to pick up the penny and saw this sticking out of the mud. It's a jetton, probably somewhere between the 1700s, 1600s.
Jettons were used as counting discs by early bankers to add up large sums of money, eventually falling out of use when bookkeeping became widespread. Jettons are the ancestors of the modern casino chip.
I was hoping to find any coin. Find a jetton is wonderful. The waves coming in here from the boats, if I hadn't walked by here, you know, within that 2-minute window, they would have been gone and washed back out, so. Right time at the right place, always an important thing in mudlarking.
It's just an accident of time and tide that brought us to the tower today, to mine a rich seam of 500-year-old artifacts. Artifacts that almost certainly would have been washed away and lost forever.
We're about to get wet, we better get out of here. Andy asked me to partake in the ritual of the cake. So I'm hoping this means that I'm actually included in the group, and maybe an honorary mudlark.
Look at it, it's all mud on it and everything.
If
you saw that on the floor, you'd step over it.
There is a bit of dirt in the corner, but
Go on, you better break the first one. Go on,
I'll take
go
it.
for it, go on.
The Thames mud doesn't.
Yeah, no,
matter.
that's all right.
Good luck.
After the ceremony of the cake, I made sure to ask Ian if I was invited back, and they said under no uncertain terms, yes, I'm more than welcome to come back. So today's my last day on the Thames. I know my permit is good for 3 years, so I mean, you guys have been amazing the entire time I've been down here. You guys have made me feel very welcome, and I want to thank you. And if I'm welcome to come back, I'd like to come back in March.
Well, you got a permit, eh?
I'm ready to go.
Just email us or phone us. We'll meet you down here again.
You guys have all been brilliant. Thank you. Wonderful finds, wonderful finds.
Take your gloves off now. No, look, she's left them on.
Now that she's done touching the yank.
Straight in the washing up, innit? When you get home.
So I'm all done on the Thames. The museum has all my finds, and they're going to categorize them and record them. Someday, hopefully, I'll get some of them put back in my collection. But the funny thing is, now I know why they say the Thames mud is so dangerous. Because it's claimed another victim. I'm hooked. I've already booked my airfare, and I'm coming back the end of the year.